Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we're going to do another episode of Bites and Nibbles with Breck today. Today we're going to make balsamic and rosemary grilled salmon. Now this is kind of one of my own recipes. It started with a recipe I found online, but I've kind of goosed it up a little bit because sometimes some of the stuff you find online can be a little bland, and I like a little bit bolder flavor with my food. I think probably it's because I like hot spicy things so much that I've eaten so many spicy things I've burned my taste buds and probably melted a lot of them, and they don't work the way they used to work. But anyway, this is full of flavor. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, and it's really tasty. So let's get going. Let's start looking at the ingredients. Alright, so these are the ingredients for my balsamic and rosemary grilled salmon. Needless to say, you're going to start with salmon. Now the recipe actually says 4 4-ounce fillets. Well, each of these are 1 pound, and so a 4-ounce fillet is going to be like 2 inches thick. It's going to be 4 of these, and I'm looking for a meal, not a snack. So I've doubled the amount of salmon that's in here. This is 2 pounds of center cut Norway salmon. This is very, very good stuff. I've had this before. This is one of my go-tos. We're going to use some lemon, a little sea salt, some balsamic vinegar, some olive oil, a little garlic, a little rosemary, and of course, what goes better with salmon than a little bit of fresh steamed asparagus? So in addition to preparing the salmon on the grill, we're going to steam a little bit of asparagus in the Instant Pot. So that's our meal. Let's get going with this. So this is a fairly simple recipe. It's going to go together pretty quickly, so try and keep up. Alright, so I've taken a little bit of time to kind of measure out my ingredients and kind of prepare stuff, because a lot of times these things take a little, they go really fast once you get going. And so I've taken my salmon fillets out, put them in a shallow dish. I've measured out the ingredients for my marinade. I have 6 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar here, 6 tablespoons of olive oil, half a cup of lemon juice, 6 garlic cloves, and a sprig of rosemary, just kind of ground up. A lot of people will use like a garlic press for making, preparing garlic. I actually prefer to kind of put it in the food processor because that grinds it up into nice little chunks, and I put the rosemary in there at the same time, and so I got that, and that's all going to kind of go together. But we're going to start off by dusting our salmon fillets with a little bit of sea salt. This is kind of an optional thing. You can do it to taste, whatever you want, and just find a good match for your own personal taste. You don't have to do this at all if you don't want. And then next I'm going to take all the ingredients for our marinade and just kind of put them together into this glass jar so we can kind of mix them up. So I've added the garlic and rosemary. I'm going to throw in the olive oil. Get that all in there. That's nice and thick. My balsamic vinegar. I'd like to dedicate that last scene to the spammer that decided he had to call me right in the middle of shooting a scene. Anyway, we got our balsamic vinegar in there and our lemon juice. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to put the cap on this, close it up really good, give it a good shake, just make sure everything's nice and mixed together. And then we are going to pour that whole mixture over our salmon. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is going to put a cover on that, and we're going to put this in the refrigerator, let this cool for about 30 minutes. Alright, 30 minutes have gone by. I have removed the salmon fillets from the marinade. I have preheated my grill and kind of hit it with a little bit of cooking spray to kind of make everything not stick. And now we're going to kind of put the individual patties onto the grill one at a time. You'll have to forgive me, that took 2 hands, and unfortunately I didn't have 2 hands because one of them was holding the camera. So we're going to set those on the grill. We're going to hit them about 4 minutes on a side, and that should be good to go. I've got it kind of on a medium-high heat. It's not all the way up, it's not all the way down, but it's probably closer to the upper level than to the lower level. At the same time I put my asparagus into the steamer basket, I'm adding about a cup of water to the inner pot. I'm going to close the lid, and we're going to steam my asparagus for about 3 minutes on high pressure. Alright, 4 minutes later, and we flip the meat, and we're going to continue on the process. Alright, there's the final product. Now, I know what this is going to taste like already, because like I said, I've done this a bunch of times, and this is really tasty, but we're going to still do the all official taste test. Like I said, I got my asparagus out. That was 3 minutes at high pressure, and that turned out really well. 4 minutes, a little bit more on the side, because these were thicker patties than you normally get. So it was 5 or 5.5 minutes on a side. But that's fine. We got it to the point where it's nice and flaky. It looks pretty tasty. I'm actually looking forward to this. And I know what I'm getting. So let's do that all important taste test. Oh yeah, and I got a nice big glass of milk waiting for me too. Alright, taste test time. Oh yeah, that's really flaky. You know, I often bring a knife along with me to cut the salmon fillets, and honestly it's completely unnecessary. It just comes apart with a fork. So yeah, really good. Just what I'd expect. Nice little flavor. You can taste the garlic, you can taste the lemon, you can taste the balsamic vinegar. It's really good, really flaky. You know, I know some people probably not into fish as much as I am. I'm from Minnesota. I'd be disowned if I didn't like fish. But yeah, very good. Now, the knife will probably come in a little bit handier with the asparagus, because it's nice to be able to cut that into chunks. But that's perfect. Nice and soft. Got a little bit of crunch to it, but it's not too hard. So really good there on that too. Like I said, asparagus goes really well with salmon, and so you got to do that. You know, that just, those two things just kind of naturally go together. So turned out really good. I'm glad I was able to share this one with you. This is one of my go-tos that I've gone to for many years, and I'm glad I could share it with you. So I hope you try this one. If you like it, let me know in the comments. I will definitely include the recipe in the description. I'll include the recipe for both that and the asparagus. And until then, I think that's all that I have for today. So thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Bon appetit.